Buyer confidence is
down.
Fear and uncertainty is very high right now. We're all just little piggies at the trough of AI, just eating the slop.
Add some gasoline to the fire, aka now may be a time to increase your ad spend.
Fear is the mind killer. If you are scared, if you're always operating from fear and like you're trying to hoard, it's pretty hard to grow.
If you're stuck, don't continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. They sold for $39 million when they could have sold for $4 billion at one point in time.
Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mark Goldhart. How are you doing this morning?
Great.
Wonderful. You're just on your phone. What are you looking at over there, bud?
Well, Google is sounding the alarm. They released groundbreaking research that they can use a quantum computer to hack crypto.
Interesting.
So, doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about,
but
pretty
interesting
crazy.
enough. Yeah.
Pretty crazy technology, guys.
We're in that
We're just
time of life where we just have no idea what's going to happen.
Just all a simulation, they say.
Yeah, I was on a podcast yesterday and somebody asked me like, where's AI headed? What's happening with technology? And it was like, I don't know. You know, I think everybody's like speculating, but now, like, that was just like my honest answer. Like, I don't know anymore. It could be like
doomed.
It could be in 3 months from now that everyone hates AI so much that there becomes this anti-AI movement, and anyone who is associating themselves with it, consumers no longer want to partake.
Or they just eat the slop.
Yeah. Or like it takes over the way people fear that it may take over. So.
We're all just little piggies at the trough. Little piggies at the trough of AI, just eating the slop.
All right, let's talk about, let's go, so...
Just give me more slop.
Agenda today is, we'll give a quick e-com forecast, what's going on in the e-com. We want to talk about a cool client win, because we feel like these things are important for you to potentially relate to your business, to just see real life things that we're doing. And then we have a tweet that we want to read that is going to really kick off the basis of this discussion, which is...
which millennial brand lost this week?
A big millennial brand had a big kick in the nads this week. So
more like a long, torturous, painful death that's finally over.
Yeah. All right. E-com. What's happening in e-com? It's buying season, technically, right? It's kind of like an interesting scenario right now because we have...
we call it a wardrobe changing season.
Yes.
As you enter into the warmer months.
People are buying, yeah, exactly. And,
people get in the mood to buy things.
And not just a wardrobe changing season, but it's a... like
somebody call it a personality change.
Yes, exactly. Like people just, they perk up a little bit. They start buying new things. They open their wallets, especially understanding that come June.
Seasonal depression is dropping.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is increasing.
Yeah. So if you are new to the podcast or haven't been listening, you will hear that we oftentimes say chase your conversion rates. So if you are seeing your conversion rates starting to increase or your average order values increasing, chase them. And what we mean by chase them is we mean add some gasoline to the fire, aka now may be a time to increase your ad spend.
The engine.
Distribution.
And technically there's little fires going on in the engine, but...
yeah. Now we also
add some
have
gas to the engine.
Record high gas prices, which are
painful,
potentially diluting what I just said.
And it is.
So
buyer confidence is
down.
So fear and sentiment fear and uncertainty is very high right now.
Yeah. So take what I said with a grain of salt, but also understand that this is like...
But the reverse of all that is true, meaning from a macro standpoint, just be aware. Like there are bigger things than your business in the world.
Yeah.
So like there's some bigger things affecting what you do. But I mean, if we pull out of Iran tomorrow, things could just go gas prices could go down by 50%.
Oh yeah,
in like a week.
$2. Yeah, they're $4.20 here in Utah.
420.
Yeah, 420, which is coming up soon. So,
for those who,
maybe when you listen to this,
to those who celebrate,
it may be around 420.
To those who celebrate,
so enjoy.
Partake responsibly.
We were in LA, and gas prices were $7.09.
Yeah, it was pretty nauseating.
Ouchies.
Ow.
Ouchie wawa. So
good luck, Californians.
Godspeed.
At least you got the beach and the weather.
That's what they say. For only a very small portion of people who actually live near the beach.
Yeah, that's right.
My buddy once said, the hard thing about California is like, unless you are 2 blocks from it, it doesn't matter if you are like 3 blocks or 40 minutes, you attend the beach the same amount of time. It's only like once you're like 2 blocks and in, then you're there every day. But once you hit that like 3rd block, it's like you might as well be in Mission Viejo or...
And me personally, I'm just scared of the ocean, so...
The ocean's a crazy place.
But...
Client win. Hit us.
We discovered this week with a client that all of a sudden new customer revenue was way down. Orders were not that far down.
CPAs were down in a good way, right?
Well, CPAs were, about the same, but orders were down. ROI was way down.
ROI big time.
So we dug into the account. What we discovered is they had some offers going. And the offers were killing them because of the AOV change, number 1, the margin change, number 2.
Yes.
And number 3, it almost devalued the product.
Yeah.
So if you're running offers in retargeting, or if you're trying to get new customers through offers, be aware of what it does to your actual contribution dollar for those types of purchases.
Yes.
Because your margins can shrink really fast and you don't even realize it's like, oh, revenue's coming in. But in this case, it wasn't like the revenue shrunk. Everything shrunk because the AOV went down so far. So people were coming in and buying lower priced items on sale.
Yes.
So we turned them all off in like overnight.
Yeah.
New customer acquisition went up 4x. Pretty crazy.
And
revenue.
And sometimes it's not necessarily that we're saying don't create discounts and offers. That one just wasn't the right offer. Because it was...
Well, the offer that is working is a BOGO now.
Yeah. The offer that was hurting them was just making their AOV lower. And so when you added their cost per click and with their conversion rate...
But also they have lower price SKUs that people... I mean, it just brought in a different type of person.
Yeah.
That you don't want.
Yeah.
And no one talks about this. There are customers you do not want.
Very true.
If they happen to come in on the, if you're looking at a normal distribution bell curve, if you happen to have them floating in on the edge, that's fine. But if it becomes you're mean, you're in trouble.
I agree. Sorry about this big yawn. All right.
So
let's get into things here.
Pay attention to what your offers are doing and who it is attracting.
Yeah. Agreed. Also, just,
because honey can attract flies.
Yeah, it can. Also, if you're watching this, I'm a little self-conscious because right before this podcast, I bent over and I ripped a hole in my pants, right in my crotch. About a 3-inch hole right in my crotch.
Gained a little weight over the weekend.
I was just filling up our refrigerator, being a good boss, getting drinks for the team.
Had
Bent
a little too
over.
much ice cream, huh?
Ripped. So I'm trying to sit very, if you're watching this, proper. No wide leg spread. Nobody wants that.
No desserts this weekend?
I'm not a big dessert guy.
That's right. I eat a lot more.
You know me. I'm a Boom Chicka Pop, kettle corn boy, or a Justin's peanut butter cup guy. Those are my two desserts.
I eat a lot of ice cream.
Ice cream's for the weak. Just kidding.
2 pints a week will keep the doctor away, is what I say.
2 pints a week will really throw you through a loop.
Does a number on your skin, but it's worth it.
That's a lot of dairy.
It's worth it for the lower cortisol levels. That's what I say.
Makes you sleep nice.
Yeah, just keeps you down. Just keeps you even keeled.
All right, let's get into things because we've already...
No anxiety.
Yeah, so just don't look at my crotch, guys. That's all I'm asking. All right, tweet from Polymarket. All right, this was today at 12:05. Well, what today is a relative term. Today in the recording is the 31st. Yes? Yeah. The 31st of March. And at 12:05 a.m., Polymarket says, breaking footwear brand Allbirds, once valued at over $4 billion with a B.
Billion.
B as in boy, has been sold for $39 million. Ouch. That's crazy.
And a lot of that is debt. So who knows?
I'm sure the majority of it
So
is.
wah, wah, wah.
So the big question
I
is
guess
like,
they IPO'd, so there's a good nice payout for the original people, I think. But what happened?
yeah, I mean, so there's a couple things.
Did you ever own any Allbirds? I did.
I did, yeah.
I owned their slippers.
Okay.
They had some slippers that were great for
Nice.
the house.
Nice.
Nice memory foam,
Yeah.
cushiony. I had their shoe. I didn't like it very much.
I had
A
like
little
their
flimsy.
Yeah, I had their high top shoes that they looked kind of cool at the time, and
Yeah, the look wasn't the issue. It was just they're so flimsy.
yeah, I agree. So, anyways, so what happened with Allbirds? It's something that we see. I mean, obviously, we have not seen the numbers. We have no affiliation with Allbirds, so we don't actually know. But the speculation
But we do know that they went from a $4 billion
to 39
to a 39 million.
What is that decrease?
Like a 98%.
That's just madness.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, they were the darling. Like, they were the darling D2C brand.
One of.
One of them that everyone looked to. And so, I mean, I think there's a couple things. The first one is, if you go back and look, there's a bunch of comments on this of people who may have a little bit more background knowledge of this brand. The first thing is, when you obviously you have to operate profitably as a business, and I think for the first 5 to 7 years, that brand was never profitable, right? Raising insane amounts of money,
Crazy amounts.
and they just were never profitable. And so sometimes when you don't have a roadmap back to profitability and you just continue to raise money or do what what we were just talking about, we're discounting to get new customers, but we're not profitable. But then all of a sudden, those are not the right customers, so they don't come back and buy again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can put yourself in a really big hole. On the flip side, you can grow really, really rapidly and then start to see a massive increase in your CAC, your cost to acquire a new customer, and immediately pull back because you feel like you can't afford it. And then you rely really heavily on returning customers, which can then also put you out of business. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's what happened.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what happened with Allbirds, but one assumption is that it's kind of two things with millennial brands, I think. There's this assumption, I think, and this expectation that everyone should get to $500 million, $1 billion, $2 billion. And to do that, I think Sean Frank from Ridge is often saying, like, there's very few reasons that a consumer brand should ever take on VC money.
Yeah.
It's almost a doom cycle. Everyone who's done it, like, has been in big trouble.
Yeah.
After all is said and done, the brand doesn't really survive. But and whatever, maybe some people are trying to get a payout, so good for them. But there's that, like, growth at all costs mentality.
Sure.
But it's also combined with they get scared to grow once it actually costs money to acquire customers.
Yeah, like once it becomes less easy.
Yeah, like the D2C model seemed easy for a lot of people because when it was first emerging, it was cheap, it was easy, like it was free distribution on social channels, it was cheap ads, everything worked.
Yeah.
And then as time has gone on, it's like, well, just welcome to business. Like, what business is hard, advertising is not easy.
What Mark means by free distribution is back in, I think that we looked at this in 2016, I believe it was like 30% of your social media posts that you would post organically reached your audience.
You're
in
following.
2016. Yep, you're following.
And back then, people actually followed you.
Yep.
Much harder to get followers now.
In 2025, that reach went from 30, I think, percent to 1.2%.
Correct.
Which is probably now under 8% in 2026.
So your following is almost never seeing
exactly
your posts anymore.
Yes. Which means you have no free distributions.
And you may ask, well, then what's the point of followers? And I would say, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the point of followers anymore? I don't know.
Unless you build a community, there probably isn't much.
Well, and we see that in consumer behavior. People don't care about follower counts anymore. It used to be a badge of honor. It used to be like a legitimizer. It used to be social proof. It like, I don't know. Just doesn't matter as much.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to my wife the other day about this.
TikTok has kind of changed the way people think about it.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife the other day about this. I was following, somebody. Well, and it's an algorithm thing. It's not even the fact that people don't want to follow anymore. It's the fact that we don't need to follow anymore. Oftentimes, because if you are creating good content,
the algorithm slot machine.
Yeah, the algorithm just puts it in front of your face. Like I was looking at somebody that I thought I had been following, and I noticed that there was like a plus symbol by their name when their content. I'm like, I have been seeing this person's content for like 4 years, and I've never followed them.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So
kind of makes you wonder if agency is a myth,
Yeah, but I think that.
What do you think? Do you think we have free will?
Oh.
Free will's an illusion.
Have you watched Pluribus?
We're all just piggies at the trough.
Did you watch Pluribus? Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a very interesting concept around agency. So it's one of the newer Apple TV. It's got the girl from Better Call Saul. Did you ever watch Better Call Saul?
I wouldn't know who that is. Saw Breaking Bad, but
I don't think I can't remember if she's in Breaking Bad. I don't think so.
But anyways,
it's a show about somebody who's
the algorithm
essentially get their agency taken away, and it's like how the world operates now. Once you don't have agency, only a few people have agency, and the rest don't.
We're all just willingly tapped into the matrix, aren't we?
But let's go back to millennial brands, right? I think one of the biggest problems with millennials is back when we started businesses in like 2012 to let's call it 2020, you just looked to what everyone else was doing. And so we were so conditioned to do what everyone else was doing. And it was okay to do that because it was so hard to start a business back then that there just wasn't the competition. Like the competition wasn't so rampant.
Yeah, and there's also just an argument that the consumer wanted Nordstrom-like brands, you know?
Yeah. So we looked
Clean,
at exactly
simple, aesthetic.
But I think the problem is they associated the success they had not with the times, but with what they were doing. Does that make sense?
Correct.
So like, it wasn't like that was a strategy that made them win because they were so aesthetically pleasing or because they, flew to Ireland to a cool photo shoot, or whatever they were doing. But in reality, what it was, oh no matter what, 30% of your audience is going to see your stuff for free.
It would be like if you grew up on a lobster boat and then the price of lobster and everybody just wanted lobster one day,
Right.
And it's like everyone was like flying to Maine or wherever you get lobster. Yeah. And like, you're just like a family out there and you're like, oh,
we're good business owners.
I've done a great job.
When in reality, it just was demand.
And that's not to diminish. A lot of you guys did great things if you're a millennial brand, but you were in a gold rush.
Yeah. So
think about social media. It's not that old.
No.
Like Instagram was what, 2012? 12?
Yeah, I think so. And then TikTok was,
2018.
It was like 2018, but really didn't start becoming something until 2020,
Like social media is not that new. It's like not that old. It's not. So we all stepped into this social media, but now everyone's there. It's not this new unreaped meadow. It is, everyone's here. Like you got to fight. It's a little bit more of a jungle now. You got to fight for it.
Yeah. So what happens is you get caught up in this, like, oh, I was following the playbook that, let's say, because who was the other D2C darlings at the time? Casper mattresses.
Warby. Parker.
Yeah. Outdoor Voices was another one. Which, by the way, all brands that have kind of started to tank.
I can't speak for all of them, but a lot of them have had some issues.
Yeah. And so the concept of let's do what everyone else is doing, and therefore, because they're successful, we will be successful, just no longer exists anymore. Right? That was the old playbook, and I think a lot of millennial-owned brands, run brands, have a hard time breaking through that to say, difference is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. The counter,
it's not really a counter argument. I think all of this is true, but the other part of it is just welcome to business. It's pay to play.
Yeah.
I think the brands that seem to continue to exceed expectations are doing things very differently, but they're also going all in on ads. Like, they understand that you can only get so much organic distribution to a point, and then you're catching lightning in a bottle at that point. And either you use that lightning to power a factory and turn it into a system, a predictable system of outcomes, or you just sit around and try to figure out lightning in a bottle again, which is like maybe.
Yeah.
Like Comfort. Like, what they're doing is crazy. But this was not like yes, there was branding. Yes, it was all this, but it was like very aggressive marketing and brand marketing approaches, doing it very differently, like trying things different, going aggressive with product seeding, going aggressive with distribution, going aggressive with ads. They have, we checked the ad library.
It's been a minute, but I'm sure they have over 1,500 active ads.
They're not just like throwing one ad out. And
they're going to do $1 billion this year, I heard. $1 billion. And when I talked to the founder of it 18 months ago, they were at 100 million.
But everything they do was, especially at the beginning, was different. Like they've evolved very quickly too. Like, they've gone from like, hey, we're just like this niche little, it's for anxiety.
You know what was funny? It was they actually
to a whole movement of like just clothes and style.
Let me expand upon what you're saying, because I'm going to make it sound like I'm disagreeing with you, and I'm not. They weren't really, crotch was open there a little bit. They weren't really doing that much different. Product seeding had existed. Advertising had existed, but what they did different was they went like, oh, the best companies are sending out 300 to 400 units a month.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to seed 10,000 units. Like, we're not just going to double, but we're going to over 10x what everyone else is doing. That's how they went different. They weren't doing anything revolutionary. They just like expanded what the capabilities are. Does that make sense? That's how I think they did things different. So sometimes it's not just, oh, I was the first person to join AppLovin and that's different and that's how I blew up my business. It's not always about that. It's just about like, sometimes you just have to go bigger than everyone else. Have you heard the...
yeah, we call it like outpacing.
Yeah. Have you heard of
you have to outpace your problem.
Have you heard of the 40%, or it's either the 40% or the 60% rule that Navy SEALs talk about?
No.
So what they train you in their buds is that most people think fatigue and failure when they like, I can't do anymore. They actually are only hitting 40% of their capacity. And so they train, like I think buds is like 7 weeks. And the whole purpose is to train their mind to be like, you actually have 60% more that you can go. And that's how they're trying to weed people out.
Really?
So that's why they keep them up for like 7 days straight in the cold water, linking arms to realize like, actually you can handle this.
Just to mentally break people?
Yeah. And then they mentally break the people who can't handle it. And then I think it's like an 80% failure rate. Like 80% of people who make it into buds don't make it out of buds.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he did do it.
Kind of broke him.
Tiger Woods. That man, dude. Can't stay out of the headlines. This podcast is brought to you by BFF Creative. BFF Creative is a software that meets services. Any marketing collateral you need, whether that's ads, emails, print designs, or social media, all you have to do is submit a request and one of BFF Creative's qualified designers will create a design for you and it'll be completed in 2 to 3 days. BFF Creative allows you to submit as many requests and as many revisions as you can with just one monthly fee. And the best part is that it's month to month. No contracts, no hidden fees, no nothing. And if you use promo code Unstoppable30, you'll get 30% off for your first month on us. Just go to bffcreative.co, pick your plan, and sign up today. But anyways, so the point is,
oh no,
I know we brought up Allbirds. Bummer outcome. The point we're trying to make right now is whether it was they overspent or underspent, or they just didn't adapt and change and do things differently. They sold for $39 million when they could have sold for $4 billion at one point in time.
Yeah.
We have
it's painful.
Yeah, we have a client who
they did IPO.
Yeah.
So like they did sell technically.
That's right.
You know, so like,
but
I'm sure there's a good outcome for a lot of those people, but for a lot of millennial brands that never reached an IPO or never did that route, who are just kind of like stuck in the middle a little bit, 50 million to 100 million to 500 million,
5 to 10 million, whatever
they're
that number
kind
is.
of in that range. I just think the problem, we've talked about a few of the problems, but ultimately I think it just comes down to that you can't play offense when you're playing defense.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Dune 3, the trailer came out, and look, I know the Bene Gesserit are all evil witches, eugenicist, clan cult, but for those of you who know what Dune is and watch Dune, not that Paul Atreides is much better. However, fear is the mind killer. So like if you are scared, if you're always operating from fear and like you're trying to hoard, it's pretty hard to grow.
Yeah. I mean,
you reach it to this plateau, and a lot of times they just start like I got to protect what I already have.
Yeah.
And they get into a zero sum game mindset instead of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And then they stop doing new things. They stop doing anything. They stop trying new things.
Yeah.
And anytime something goes like sort of wrong, they go into like hyper PTSD, like, oh, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And not even something
Someone said something bad. We got to stop.
And not even if something goes wrong, but if it doesn't go really
if
good.
It's not a silver bullet. Yeah.
Yes. Then they're like, oh, that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with my wife. My wife is she's doing a anti-inflammatory diet where you go off of certain things for 30 days and then you start to add certain things back to see it's kind of like the Whole30 diet. Remember the Whole30? Well,
I eat ice cream every day, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, she's 2.5 weeks into it. It's 30 days. And she's like, I don't feel any different, And I was talking to her this morning. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that it's
been how long?
Yeah, it's been 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, she's over halfway there. But it's like, hey, maybe it takes the full 30 days to feel it.
Also, like, you might not feel it at all. It doesn't mean it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And maybe the outcomes are things that might happen 3 months from now.
Correct.
And so, yeah, I think that, and we've talked to 9-figure businesses that feel this way, where they think that they can't do a certain thing or say a certain thing or take a chance. And we've also talked to brands that are in this like $1 million range who say the same things. Right. So it's that fear is not applicable to just like one size of business.
Correct.
Like it's across the board, and it's very consistent that people are feeling like they can't do and say certain things, or that they're just too scared to, because they're either afraid that something bad will happen or something not good, or like it just won't be good. Even like, though it might not be a bad thing, they're almost afraid to put themselves out there. I don't know if they feel stupid or what it might be, but it's a pretty common.
Well, again, like when we just think about millennials and the difference between millennials and Gen Z, like the big gap there is cringe. Like I just feel like Gen Z doesn't care.
No.
Like
No. Yeah. Well, I think millennials, we care a lot about what other people think about us.
Yes, there's a little bit more of that.
Very much so.
Which is ironic because we didn't grow up. I don't know. Maybe Gen Z is just immune to it.
And I think
they're just on social all the time. It's just like whatever.
Well, and I think millennials, we're nostalgic too. So we like the old.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't hear Gen Z talking about nostalgia the way. Like I made a joke.
Oh, it's because they were born in the post-digital world.
Yeah.
Like they just.
Yeah, you're right.
There's nothing to be nostalgic about.
But it's like, it's like I got so jazzed for the new Harry Potter trailer. Harry Potter has been done with for so long. I listened to the same Third Eye Blind album at least once a week that I was listening to in 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't wear skinny jeans anymore, but a lot of us still continue to.
Oof.
So, I don't know. Lesson is be different. Try new things. If you're stuck, don't continue to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Don't be scared.
Yeah. Cancel culture also is not as big of a thing.
Well, I wonder if that was part of it. Like,
I think it was.
Cancel culture got so intense that every millennial brand got so worried about every little thing they were saying.
Oh, it was crazy, man. Well, we were on the brand side during that time.
Yeah.
Cancel culture, really,
like everyone was like
a mind F.
Everyone was examining every little word all the time.
Oh yeah.
Whether it was intentional or not.
That person said this, therefore they're a mega racist. Or
whatever.
Yeah, whatever it might be, Or they don't care. I do wonder
how that.
So I think that's, and once again, don't go out saying offensive stuff. Like that's not what we're saying here, but it's okay to draw lines in the sand.
But when you're walking on eggshells, it changes who you are.
Totally. Yeah. It's
Like
okay
it's okay to mess up and say sorry and stuff, like on an individual level.
Yeah, for sure.
But like brands were walking on eggshells, like,
Oh, absolutely.
oh, we can't do anything because...
Well, and even if you didn't do anything, you were...
Which ultimately might be why
trouble.
none of them took a stance on anything.
Yeah.
Not political. We're not talking politics here, guys.
Yeah.
We're just saying a lot of these brands became so vanilla.
Well, they felt like
they wouldn't even take any position on, even if they were like on something that was kind of obvious. Like you're a women's brand in whatever space. It's like they wouldn't even say it's for women.
Yeah, they'd say like, oh, well, we have to now, like, we should be inclusive and create product for men.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
it's like,
you
what?
forgot the core audience? So now the core audience doesn't care about you anymore?
Correct.
Yeah, so because there was also a fear of if you don't do something and don't say something, you're also going to get in trouble.
Yeah, it was the eggshell mentality. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people just like you said, we went from
I kind of forget that got pretty intense there in like 2000.
Yeah, this is who my customer is.
18, 19.
Yeah, this is who my customer is.
20.
Now I need to make my customer everyone, and really your customer isn't for everyone. And maybe that was a huge thing with Allbirds too, right? Did they go into this realm of like, oh, everyone can buy our shoes?
They got to the point where, like if you're that big, like
eventually you need to
your
start
TAM is big. Like you don't like Nike, but again, Nike is all about the athlete,
Yeah. Nike doesn't do it for everyone.
So that's true.
So
Polo does not
no
make clothes for everybody.
No.
Well,
I don't have much more to say about that.
Sweet. Let's go.
Outside of just
I'm hungry.
draw lines in the sand. Be different.
Define who you are and define who you are serving.
Yeah. Better yet, actually, sometimes a better exercise is define who you're not for. Like sometimes it is hard for people to be like, oh, this is my customer, because you get in this realm of like, oh, but also this girl could be my customer. So
or this guy.
Start in the exercise of like, okay, we know it's not for 65-year-old people and older. And we know that it's not for anyone who doesn't have a full-time job.
And we understand that this is an easier exercise for some products than others.
Yeah.
Like what it was Hex Clad. It's kind of obvious who they're for.
Yeah.
Like you have to be cooking.
Yeah.
Like that's who they're going after. They're not going after people who don't cook.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay is their...
Poppy's not going after soda drinkers, right? Poppy's going after the person who's looking for the alternative.
Correct.
Right?
We're trying to convert maybe the diet people.
Yeah, like Liquid Death was not going after just everyone, even though everyone should be drinking water.
Yeah, they are offensive.
Yeah.
A lot of people got mad, have been very offended by some of their campaigns, even though they're all jokes. Like it's not serious.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's it. Okay, you've listened to us long enough.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Rest in peace, Allbirds.
They'll rise like the phoenix one day.
All right. See you guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. If there's a brand, campaign, strategy, or marketing tactic that you want us to review, please DM me at the Trevor Crump on Instagram or TikTok, or at the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. And of course, if you got value from this episode, or if you like it whatsoever, please make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you're following, and for sure, go leave us a review to let us know that we're doing a good job. We will see you guys next time.